Hello, my name is Esther Festus. I am a leadership and wellness consultant, and this is part six of the housekeepers and cleaners training ongoing. So it is great to be here again, and welcome to our YouTube channel. So let's get right into it. Today I'll be speaking on I'll be speaking on local and international housekeeping standards, differences, what you need to know as an housekeeper, what you need to know to upgrade your services, your deliverables. For local standard, once it looks clean enough, and in fact, I've experienced it being the CEO of a cleaning company in Ibadan. Most times when I recruit people and they are working with us, I observe that once they see that, oh, they've cleaned the space and it is clean enough to them, that they are not seeing any cake dirt, or probably they tried and they could not remove the dirt that was there. They are not feeling any dust there. They tell me it's clean enough. And then they say, oh, well, it looks clean. But the truth is, it's not enough that it looks clean. The international standard focuses on it being hygienically safe and visually perfect. So whenever we do post-construction cleaning, I like to tell my clients that from the onset that it is in two phases for post-construction and post-renovation. And that is because it's not advisable or it is achievable, but I am more comfortable delivering excellent service by doing the cleaning in two phases. And the two phases that I'm talking about means that the first phase basically will be we clean the house, we clean the apartment or the hotel. We go for about 2, 3 days to clean. And then when they are about to move in, when they're about to start using the property, we go to do the final cleaning and polishing and detailing. So it is not advisable to do the detailing and the cleaning during the first phase of cleaning. I know people do it. I've done it before, but I observe that to get better experience, better service, then it is more advisable to do it twice, because the more you clean, the cleaner it gets. That is as simple as that. The more you clean, the cleaner it gets. So getting back on track, for local housekeepers believe once it looks clean or there's no visible dirt, they've swept, they've mopped, they've arranged, they feel they've done the job. International standard believes that it is beyond that. It has to be safe, hygienically safe, and that is why at Marketing Solutions we practice wellness focused cleaning. Our goal is to make sure that that space is cleaner and healthier than when you left it. International standard, they focus on microbial cleaning, detail finishing, which is what I even already mentioned as part of what we do. So if you're able to incorporate this as part of your service, you're intentional about not just cleanliness but health, not just cleanliness but wellness, then you will be able to go the extra mile and deliver excellent service. And being an housekeeper, you need to understand that you are creating the experience of the guest. You are in charge. You are the one that is creating that experience for them. Apart from whatever the hotel has going on for them, the guests will experience your handiwork in using the rooms. So even after cleaning, you have to take note of the touch points. You have to also check for hidden dirt, edges, under beds, corners. These are places you ought to check. Two, attention to detail. You know, I mentioned cleaning, I mentioned detailing earlier. This is where you do attention to detail. Now I'm talking about when we are doing our own post-construction, post-renovation cleaning, and we specialize in cleaning duplexes and hotels. So when we do this when we do the attention to detail is in the second phase. And as a housekeeper cleaning a hotel room, your attention to detail is while you're working. You're not cleaning in two phases. It's while you're working. For local standard, once they do general cleaning, they've swept, they've mopped, they've dusted where they felt to be dusted. They should ignore the vents, the AC, them cutting edges, even behind doors. I've done trainings, I've done consultation for several hotels, and I've been able to see people, different housekeepers work firsthand. So I know what I'm talking about when I tell you that that's the standard that we have in Nigeria housekeeping. And now the difference is for international standard, nothing is overlooked. They follow a structured checklist system. So that will help you take note of where you're supposed to have checked. Have you cleaned this place? As you are working, you're checking it. As you're working, you're checking it. And when you are done, you have your own checklist. Your supervisor has his or her own checklist. So that will make sure that the job has been done perfectly. And also, how to make sure that you are paying attention to detail is by cleaning from top to bottom. I mentioned this in one of the videos. From top to bottom, left to right, which means you are cleaning from top. You are dusting the AC. You are dusting the wardrobe from top. You don't just get to the room and sweep first. No, Sweeping is one of the last things you do. There are other things to do in the room before you even get to sweeping. So you clean from top to bottom, left to right. It will make your job easier. It will make it more orderly. You'll be able to see clearly what next to do, especially when you have if you have your checklist with you. Every room must pass a repeatable inspection standard, which means the inspection standard we are using for this room, we should be able to use for a suite. We should be able to use for even the reception. We should be able to use for any other room. We should be able to repeat. We should be able to use it for a different branch of that hotel. So you're not doing half work in one room and doing paying more attention in the suite. No, you don't know who may want to take the other room that you're ignoring. Three, when it comes to bed making standards, local housekeepers believe that once the bed is made, the sheet may be wrinkled or loosely tucked in. And I have seen this firsthand. Even when I go to hotels, when I lodge in hotels, I have seen this. Or I lodged in a service apartment, I've seen this. And I've consulted for several service apartments that I have seen it firsthand. That they don't care for as long as they have the bed sheet, it's laid and it's tucked in somehow, it looks neat enough, they are fine. I remember that for the second one, I mentioned attention to detail. This is part of what shows they pay attention to detail. For international standard, bed is tight. There are no wrinkles. It is symmetrical. If you watch some of their trainings, you will wonder how come they're able to put so much effort into what they do. And for laying the bedspread, they use hospital corners. So we have two major skills, techniques in laying bedspread. We have the hospital corners and army style. There are two different. I have the video on this channel. So you can please check through it. I have the video on how to lay your edges, your bedsheet edges. I will drop the link in the description box so you can check that video. And you're supposed to layer your bedspread correctly. And the bed should give a 5-star impression of luxury. I should be seeing that bed and be like, yes, these people know what they are doing. It is part of the experience that I will be getting. Most people when they get to the room, they just lay on the bed because they're exhausted, they want to relax. So if I'm laying on the bed and I'm seeing, in fact, there's a service apartment I consulted for, and one of the staff members told me that there was a guest there at the time that the guest laying on the bed just saw some dirt on the bed sheet, a brown patch on the bed sheet, and then he decided to pull the bed sheet just for him to see that they actually turned the bed sheet over. The bed sheet was not clean enough. They turned it over. They're trying to manage it. When I brought this up to them, they're like, it is true. That it happens like that sometimes. That so once they see that is dirty, they just turn it because it's actually neat. It's just that they've not been able to remove that brown patch. If you can no longer wash a bed sheet to be sparkling clean, to be white, to be the original color you want it to be, then you have to replace it. Then you cannot manage it. That is how you maintain standard. If you observe such, instead of turning it over, report it to your supervisor. Let them know that it is. Take a picture of it and send it to your supervisor. And also show them physically as well. So, number 4, use of cleaning materials. Local standards use same clothes across multiple surfaces. And I've spoken about color coding a couple of times on my personal YouTube, on my personal page, and on Merak page as well. Color coding is very important. And the sweetest part, the sweetest reason why I always talk about color coding is because it prevents the transference of illnesses, of diseases from one place to the other. I wrote here that color coded cleaning system prevents contamination. Simple. For instance, and color coding basically means that you're using a specific color of materials and tools for a space. For instance, you're using red for the toilet, which means everything you're using for the toilet, the tools, the materials you're using for the toilet are red. So if I see end tool and material that are not red, you're not using it. Blue for general surfaces, which means anything you're using in that room, it has to be color blue. The materials, the tools you're using in that room has to be color blue. Green for food areas, which means if you're cleaning the kitchen or the table area where the guest eats, or the dining, then you know that you're using green cleaning materials and tools. If you cannot find it, you have to replace it. That is color coding. I can count the number of hotels that use color coding. There are very, very few in Nigeria. And these are the things that create the experience for the guests. Because then it shows that you're not just particular about getting money and just cleaning. You are detailed enough. You pay attention to your client's wellness and well-being. 5, guest experience awareness. So this basically, for local standard focuses on cleaning tasks. There are little awareness of guest psychology. Let me give a brief story on this. There was a service apartment I consulted for, and during my last day of consultation at the service apartment, at one of their apartments, there were guests came in, and then The hostess was not around. I think the hostess was on leave, and the guests had to sit outside. And then the housekeepers that were there could not even relate with the guests. They could not attend to the guests. They had to call a different staff member to attend to the guests because they were trying to set up the apartment for the guests to get in. I had to step in. I had to step in. I had to perform the role of an hostess to those guests. At some point, the guests thought that I was working there. I said, no, I'm not an employee there. I actually came to consult for them. And this, I'm doing this training so that you will be able to match international standard. So amongst hundreds, thousands of housekeepers, you are the one that stands out. You are the one that delivers excellent service. For international standard, it's not like that. Cleaning is tailored to guest experience design. They are very intentional about it. Every detail is tailored towards guest comfort, guest trust, and positive reviews. Because guests will check positive before I lodge in any hotel, I go through reviews, and more hotels get reviews on cleanliness. They get bad reviews on cleanliness, and that's because of the lackadaisical attitude to cleanliness. When you enter a room, enter that room like you are a guest. How would you want the room you are paying for to feel? What experience would you like to have in that room? Then treat that room accordingly. Ask yourself, will I pay premium price for this? Will I be paying money for this? And they will give me this kind of room. Will I stay there? Whenever we go to clean duplexes, apartments, hotels, I will tell my employees because we always have briefings. So whether I'm there or not, the supervisors will have briefings, and we always ask a question. As you're working, ask yourself, if somebody is cleaning my house for me, is this how I want them to clean my house? If that is not how you want them to clean your house, then do not clean somebody's house like that. So when you are entering a room to clean, ask yourself. And when you are done cleaning, ask yourself, have I given my best? And if I am paying money for this room, to stay in this room for a day, if my children be staying here with me and we are paying good money to stay here, is this okay for us to stay? Number 6, speed versus process. So for local standard, speed is prioritized because we want to do things on time, move to the next. We rush cleaning. I've seen it firsthand. Merak has been in charge of several hotels cleaning, and then whenever I go to consult for them and I see how the housekeepers clean, I'm disgusted. I've seen it firsthand how it works. Cleaning is rushed. For international standard, process is important. The way you clean, because you are creating the guest experience. And the funny thing is, the people that prioritize speed, it's not as if they do the job well, though, because they're rushing through it. That's just the example I give of the guest that saw the dirt patch on the bed sheet because it was rushed, rather than following an exact process. Speed improves after mastery. So when you are following a process and you are adhering to the process, before you know it, whatever you used to spend 1 hour on, you spend 30 minutes on. Before you know it, you start spending 3 minutes on because you know how to do it offhand, because you've mastered it, because you've done that process over and over and over again. So speed is not something that you gain at once. Speed comes after mastery of following the due process. And remember that you are creating a guest experience. Number 7, inspection culture. For local standard, there is minimum or no supervision, which is true, which is very true. I've consulted for hotels, for service apartments, and I barely see supervisors with them. Barely. They just assume, in fact, they barely have supervisors. Most of the time, one of them assumed the role of the supervisor. And I believe that is basically just to monitor that they are doing the job, not necessarily that they are doing it well. But for international standard, there is strict supervision system because there's a process to adhere to. Supervisor checks every room before release. I remember that I mentioned something earlier, that every room must pass a repeatable inspection standard. So that is one of the job of a supervisor, inspecting, strict supervision, making sure that you adhere to the process given, to the standard given. You need to know that no room is ready. That room is not ready until it has been inspected. You need to have an accountability culture. And accountability culture is important. That is how you maintain the standard. You preserve it. That's how you improve the standard. If not, anybody will do anything that they think is right and get away with it. Number 8, personal presentation of housekeepers. So remember the service apartment I said that I assumed the role of an hostess for their guests. Even the way the housekeepers were dressed, I can just imagine if I were a guest, if someone dresses like that and then tries to speak to me or tries to engage me, because my next question will be, you are working. You are working. We see it as, oh, it's just cleaning, they are coming to, they don't need to be all, You don't need to be formally dressed and all that. When I recruit for hotels and service apartments, in fact, I tell them to resume dressed in corporate. Whether you're given a uniform or not, resume dressed in corporate. Present yourself as someone that deserves respect. Present yourself as someone that is doing a noble job. Your presentation as a housekeeper is very important. Your uniform should be neat. Your hair should be well packed. Your scent should not be overpowering. You should not be having body odor. If you're wearing a perfume, wear a nice one. It should not be overpowering. It should be a sweet scent. It should be subtle. We need to remember that as a housekeeper, you are keeping a brand image. You are presenting the organization. And imagine if a guest sees you and because of you, because of how you are dressed, you presented yourself, chooses not to come again, your hotel has lost that money. Your hotel has lost that guest, and it is on you. 9, handling guest belongings. This is very important. So I've gone to hotels, I've lodged in hotels, and I end up forgetting one thing or the other. And most of the time, in most of the hotels, they claim not to see it. I've only been to few hotels that actually, in fact, there's an hotel I lodged at Abuja, and I got a call. I got a call that they inspected the room and saw that I forgot something. And they asked to send it to where I was. And they did. That thing could have been picked by anyone and assumed that I forgot it and that was it. Do you know that I would go to that hotel again? I would. Now, if everyone does like that, do you know that to be able to gain trust, you are trustworthy? So even if there is a position of higher value, a better opportunity, you'll be called to it because you have proved yourself to be trustworthy. So you should have strict ethics and procedure. Even see all these things that I'm teaching you, if there are things that you can relate back to your manager, suggest them to him or her. There should be a lost and found documentation system. So even if you're not calling customers back after checking their room, you can always keep whatever has been lost. And then whenever they come back, you can tell them, yes, check through our lost and found box. And the truth is, trust is a very valuable skill than just cleaning. You can be good at your job, and just because of you are not trustworthy, better opportunities will pass you by. Lastly, standard operating procedures. Yes, very few hotels. We have thousands of hotels in Nigeria, even in Ibadan, thousands, and very few of them. I bet they are under 50 that actually has SOPs, actually has standard operating procedures. And for local standard, they believe once you have the experience, you can do the work. This is how we do it here. Do it like this, do it like that. And the difference with international standard is that they have a documented SOPs. Remember, I said that a repeatable standard. A documented SOPs for everything. Every staff is treated the same way. So even if one staff leaves today, there's already a standard for another staff to follow through. And this basically says that consistency builds reputation, builds brand reputation, not individual efforts. That is why you need to understand that you ought to work as a team. Improve yourself. You need to learn how to work as a team. Send this video to your team members, to your colleagues, for them to watch this video. Watch the whole playlist, the whole training playlist. Watch everything. You will gain more understanding on what is expected of you, on how to upgrade your services, on how to upgrade yourself, on how to upgrade the standards of your organization. We are moving from being a cleaner to becoming a hospitality professional that is trusted at international standards. So that even if you travel out of the country, you are good. You have the right skill. You are good to go. Even if your hotel, the hotel you're working with, if they eventually have branches out of the country, they can trust to take you there. They trust that you manage it well. But if you don't improve on yourself, nobody will put you in positions. So you're not going to embarrass them and spoil their work. Most housekeepers in Nigeria are clean, but very few understand what international hospitality calls clean. And you may be losing guests because of this. So if you have any questions, can you drop it in the comment section? And I'll be sure to reply as much as I can. Thank you for watching. Also, you can reach out to us via Instagram at Merak Cleaning Solutions. If you want to train your housekeepers, or you want a consultation for your hotel, you want to improve the standard of your hotel, if you want to prevent decline to your reputation, your legacy, your investment, reach out today. And I don't take consultation. I don't take a lot of consultation because it's usually time consuming for me and tasking. So I only take very few per time, very few. Most times 2, 3 for months. So it is really first come, first serve. The earlier you come through, the faster you get your results. Thank you for watching. It is another day of excellent service.